The only place to get the best analysis.
We've tried this way and we've been trying it for a long time, and it's just start the process now.
Best interviews.
There was talk that you used to go commando when you played, and
yeah, I did. Yeah, I never wore pants. Still don't wear pants.
And best opinions on all things from across the pond and here in Ireland. Live every night from 9 p.m. on OTB Sports Radio.
I listen all the time.
Get OTB Sports Radio online at offtheball.com/radio or on your phone by downloading the Go Loud app.
The Cheltenham Show
on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Paddy Power. Cheltenham's coming home.
Yes, Cheltenham's coming home. It's day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival. Tom Malone is basking in the reflected glory of one of the greatest days of your life, Tom.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I mean, it's just it's the respect of your peers that
It's never happened before.
It's literally never happened before. So there's a slightly different reaction. People just give me little nods and stuff in the way and saying thanks. Unfortunately, I've been back in Horse for quite some time, so I'm more nervous.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I know what the next page says, where everyone else is full of joy and hope and expectation, and mine's much more about the dread.
You've got a piece up every day previewing what the big races of the day are, as opposed to going through the cards, and obviously on your own Twitter account, which is
at Thom_Malone.
There you go. THOM.
Yeah, I picked up like an absolute ton of new followers yesterday, so I'm feeling distinct pressure on the back of that.
The Altior's Banquo's Ghost today. No Altior in the Queen Mother Championship. We kind of actually...
I thought he would actually make it, but obviously, look, things were pretty serious. Because you look at the state with Epatante, who was reported about 8 or 10 days ago to have a slight cough by Nicky Henderson, and obviously she went on and won well yesterday. So I thought the Altior thing, I hoped the Altior thing might have just been a hyper reaction to the sort of a slight market move about him. But look, the horse was lame. That's a real shame. We still have a match on the plus side. Look, Politolog is potentially bringing a line of form from last season's champion chase to keep the top 2 honest. But look, Defi Desoy and Shaq and Poursois, if either of them win, they'll still be worthy champions even without Altior.
So this is a really small field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5 or 6? 6. Okay.
Yeah, so we've no Altior, but you've still got Defi Desoy, who's around about 11 to 10 now. I think it's about 11 to 8, Shaq and Poursois. And then Politolog sort of best. The thing is as well, sort of when you're tipping for this race, to tip an each way selection, you need 8 runners so you can get 3 places. So,
this is a race to watch.
This is a race to watch, or if you have a strong opinion in either of Shaq and Poursois or Defi Desoy, then, you can, the good thing is you can smash into either of them, they both be odds against, because that, as opposed to the likes of yesterday where you'd 4 to 7 penny, did you sort of 5 to 2 honeysuckle type situation. It's very difficult to have such a strong opinion when there's a legitimate contender there and you have to take 4 to 7. Like it requires a lot of ammunition.
Yeah, yesterday was a pretty good day for the bookmakers, right?
I would think so. Particularly the one negative for the bookmakers would imagine that the 2 short favourites that were beaten were just kind of at the end of the day where some casual fans would have switched off by that stage, but like Benny De Dieu and Carefully Selected in particular were 2 that would have stacked a lot of anti-post accumulators. And I mean, the money for Carefully Selected was phenomenal. He was into about 11 to 10 just before 11 to 10, 6 to 5 on the off when he was kind of, 15 to 8, 9 to 4 around that sort of on Monday. So it was a really significant move for him, and so as the bookies to get that one in the satchel late is always good from their point of view as well. That was reflected today though, because Envoy Allen, as soon as Abracadabras ran well in the Supreme, he was cut, and then he was being cut again. He's generally kind of a 4 to 6 shot, but like yesterday there was 5 to 4 readily available about him.
11 to 8 on at the moment with Paddy Power. John Duggan, good morning to you. How you doing?
Hey, Ger and Tom, how are you?
Good.
I want to talk a little bit about the bumper today. Last race, Appreciate It, is the Mullins horse, 7 to 4 at the moment. Queensbrook is next in the betting at 17 to 2. This is a strong favourite, I think it's fair to say, for the bumper. When you look at the bumper at Cheltenham, what's your approach to it?
My approach is to often look at the best rated horse. That's one of the things. And it's to look at horses that I think can stay the trip. Because I thought Harry Molly, when I backed him years ago, was a 2.5 miler, and in this ground. It's riding very testing. You need a horse. The way I kind of think about the bumper is the very best horses who win the bumper are often Gold Cup horses. Florida Pearl won the bumper. He would have turned out to be a Gold Cup horse. Envoy Allen could be absolutely anything. Could be a champion hurdle horse. Could be a Gold Cup horse. And I'm generally looking for horses that are going to be chasers of the future. It's a flat race over 2 miles, and generally you're looking for horses that come from the point-to-point field and are chasers of the future. The one I've gone for today is Fernie Hollow. Cost 300 grand when he won his point. Cheveley Park stood bottom, and Willie Mullins trains him. He kind of has the profile a bit of Champagne Fever a few years ago. Champagne Fever disappointed in one of his runs, and then he won his next one, I think at Fairyhouse, and then he won the bumper at 16-1. Willie Mullins told me at Leopardstown before I came over here to Cheltenham that Fernie Hollow been working very well at home. He does need to settle a lot more. They put a hood on him. But I'm always looking for the potential superstar in the bumper and the horse that could be something special. I think Fernie Hollow, if he settles a lot better at 10-1 with Paddy Power, he's the one I've gone for each way against Appreciated. But you can't knock Appreciated form because he's been brilliant. And the way he's quick and clear and showing that turn of foot does put him in with a great chance of winning for Patrick today.
John, in fairness, Willie and Dad, they've always thought very highly of Fernie Hollow. How concerned are you about, say, like a situation we had with, say, the Notebook yesterday and the end of the false start, just the prelims getting to him a bit, because it's obviously really a big occasion over there?
It is, yeah, and that's the concern, and that was the concern with Epatante. What Barry Gertie told me yesterday, that Epatante didn't light up at all last year here, and she obviously put that to bed this year. So it can be the case that, for example, in the first race, Envo Allen is a year older than Sporting John. How will Sporting John handle the preliminaries? And sometimes you do need a bit of maturity. That's why 4-year-olds tend not to do well in the bumper. They tend not to win. Like Dado Star back in the 90s was, as a 4-year-old to win it. But generally, and that's why I think horses in the champion hurdle at 5 years of age don't tend to perform well. You do need a bit of experience, and you do need a bit of relaxed temperament. But I was interested in what Willie said about the way the horse was working. And sometimes when I have these conversations with people, when it's low key, sometimes you can get the best information. I'm really kicking myself because Henry de Bromhead told me at Leopardstown to put the kettle on was an each-way bet, and Gordon Elliott told me that Raven Hill was a bet, and I'm now taking everything that was said to me at Leopardstown at utter face value, and I'm just following that because after yesterday it was a bit of a disaster.
That was some solid information you got there. Although, in fairness, a lot of people did back Raven Hill for the wrong race. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be lined up for the Kim Muir, and then he ended up in the 4-miler, the not quite 4-miler yesterday.
Like the Glancing Queen, for example, you want a horse with experience in the bumper. The Glancing Queen ran it last year and gets another chance today for Alan King. The Glancing Queen is a horse that has experience around Cheltenham. So I know what you're saying, Tom. I'm kind of backing Fernie Hollow on the basis of Willie Mullins. Sometimes his first string doesn't win this. Yeah. With Briar Hill winning a few years ago, the big price. And sometimes his first string doesn't win it. And I'm going with Fernie Hollow for Paul Townend to have a winner today after Benny DeGill yesterday. Okay,
let's welcome Paddy Power to the show. Paddy, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great, gents. How you getting on?
How was your day yesterday?
It was personally or work-wise? Work-wise, we probably just about got out of trouble. It's about level on the day. Personally, it wasn't great, to be honest. But from a punting perspective, but good fun.
Yeah. Well, Thom had the best day of all time. John, a bit of a bloodbath as well.
Because the conditional, it's the time you got stuck in the conditional.
The conditional and Honeysuckle. I thought Paddy Power was very, very generous at 130 in the morning. So
3 winners. Three winners.
Well done.
Day of days.
Well done.
What do you like today, Paddy? What are you focused on?
Yeah, I'm slightly annoyed that Envoy Allen's going to go off very short. I mean, the form couldn't have been better franked with Abracadabra's all but winning the Supreme yesterday, and then also Darver Star running so well in the Champion Hurdle. So understand why he's gone short, but it's a bit annoying because I can't really back him at 4-6, 8-11. Do you know what I mean? So I think I'm probably going to maybe go for Sporting John against him. I think he's got a reasonable chance. You know, he looks very impressive. I don't know how good he is, but he looks full of potential. So I'm going to go for him, I think, in the first. And then in the next race, I'm literally tossing a coin between Manila Indo and Allaho. And I probably come down the side of Allaho. I think today Willie Mullins might have a decent day, and I think Allaho might be one for him. I think Chacun Pour Soi will win the tactical battle of the Queen Mother Champion Chase. And in the bumper, I think Appreciated will win. I know I heard some cases been made. John making a case for Fernie Hollow, the stable companion, but I think Appreciated's very good. and it's 1/2, 1/2. So I can understand why he's a shortish price. And Tiger Roll is just literally, it's like an ATM, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I'm concerned about Tiger Roll just not being. I know they're telling us that Tiger Roll is totally fit, came on for the run in Navan, but like, this is the biggest year of trying to just get Tiger Roll ready for the Grand National. So today doesn't matter the way it has done in previous years, is my argument.
It doesn't. I mean, like, you'd be if he doesn't win today, you'd be saying like, Jesus, he really should be running the Grand National. You know, he's not going to win the Grand National of his current mark. Like, he is like, is he like £30 clear of the next best horse? Like, if I don't know, like,
Mike Bice is in there, but obviously, you know, unless he's had some sort of personality and brain transplant, that, you know, you'd really be concerned that he's going to turn form with a specialist like Tiger Roll.
Thom, listen to yourself. Might bite.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's the only one who's officially rated, but I mean, geez, you want, like, this is a lost soul society, this race, isn't it, Paddy? I mean, the likes of Yanworth and, you know, what age is Josie Zorda's nearly as old as we are.
Yeah, it's like the reason why you'd fancy Mike Bite is because he's a complete head case, so I can't trust him. But sure, he might like these weird fences. But am I right in saying there's very few fallers in the cross country as well? The risk for Tiger Road is not falling. It's nothing like that. I kind of don't see what the risk is. I think Tiger Road went 25 lengths last year. I mean, you got to think if he's half as good as that, he wins by 12 lengths or whatever. Well, I know that maths isn't great, but you know what I mean. But yeah. I think he's probably as good an even money shot or thereabouts as you're ever going to get. And much as I hate backing short price favourites at Cheltenham because it's the way to the poorhouse, I think Tiger Road is very obvious.
Well, as you say, Paddy, if you consider the other sort of shorties, you've got Daffy DeSoy, who's around about, 11 to 10. Well, he has to beat Shaq in Poursois. Envoy Hélène is obviously shorter, but he has the pick of all those getaways up against him, and obviously horses that could still improve. Whereas, I mean, we know what we've got with Tiger Roll. He is the best in this discipline, and the rest of them, bar maybe Easyland, who could potentially progress, the rest of them are what they are, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's an argument to say that himself and Easyland should just, this is the Queen Mother, that is nearly a match between the two. So a reverse forecast would be always a muggish bet, but it mightn't be the worst idea in the world in those couple of races. But I agree with you. I think Tiger Road's straightforward. By the way, fair play to Tiger Roll, because the only reason we're talking about the cross country, no one really gives a damn about it, is because it's Tiger Roll. Yeah, no, he's obviously who he is.
It's true. I want to ask about the muggish bet of the reverse forecast. My very first ever bet was at the dog track in Newbridge, and it was reverse forecast, and it romped home. And I was like, okay.
Worst thing that can happen, Jerry.
I know.
Worst thing that can happen.
Absolutely. A tragedy on a personal level. But why am I not doing Daffy DeSoy and Shaq Poursois? Would I actually make money if those two end up going up? Even in a race that is six runners in it,
it'll be a touch of odds on. It'll be about 4 to 5. Is the forecast will pay either way. So yeah, if it comes in, you'll make money, but you won't be getting rich. But obviously the risk is one of them falls or makes a bad mistake. It's hard to see anything other than those two, like finishing in front of one of those two. If you know what I mean. I think the two of them are pretty well clear. Like.
Yeah, so if you do, you don't even need to do the reverse forecast. If you do believe strongly in one of them, then the thing to do is the forecast. Is this why they're rich and we're poor, Thom? Is this how this happens?
No.
He's like, do that,
Jerry,
do that.
That's a great idea.
No, Jerry, you are completely wrong, because that's just pure greedy. If you think really fancy one's going to win, just back it to win. Okay. Don't overcomplicate it. Just go and put your money down and pick it up again. Yeah.
Fair enough. So no reverse forecast is what I hear.
Don't overcomplicate.
But I like them. They're like it's an old school, and I'm talking 50 cents.
Have you already done a reverse forecast?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I did do one yesterday.
Okay, fair play to you.
I haven't known. I did it yesterday, and I must ask: is this a good bet or is this a bad bet? But I think you've managed to clear that one up for me.
Well, if it wins, it's a good bet.
Yeah, well, they all are. Yeah. John Duggan, what do you make of Tiger Roll? I notice you're not tipping Tiger Roll today. Is that just because you think it's too short, or what's your story?
I'm not so sure if Tiger Roll is in the form he was in last year, and that's the first thing. The second thing is I don't like the race. I think the race is a sprint. I think Paddy's right about the lack of fallers in the race. They kind of dawdle around for the first 3 miles, and then it turns into a sprint. And Tiger Roll, who's a Triumph Hurdle winner in the past here, has that finishing speed. And if Tiger Roll, the only horse that will beat Tiger Roll today is Tiger Roll. If Tiger Roll is right, he's another big bucks. He's a certainty. But if he's wrong and if he's not right, there's a lot of French horses in there. I just don't like the race. Enda Bulger. When Enda Bulger used to have farmed the race years ago, then I'd always maybe look at what Enda's doing. But I don't like the race. It's a tricky race for me. I'm not going near it, but I'd expect Tiger Roll to win it.
All right. Paddy, at the track, is there any gossip about yards doing well? Is there any kind of stuff that you kind of day one, you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this, and after day one, you're like, okay, I fully understand. So Nicky Henderson's yards going well. Barry Garrity's going to have a week of weeks. What is there any of that stuff coming across?
Well, I think that what you saw yesterday, particularly in the very first race, is the overreaction people have to stuff like that. And I'd say, you know, much as I love the buzz and the getting carried away with stuff, like Shishkin in the very first race yesterday was he drifted so badly because the ground was softer, and obviously went he was nearly double the price that he had been a few days previously, and still won, right? So that's kind of proved that we can overreact to ground. Now, in previous years, there's been massive overreactions to, say, Gordon Elliott not having a winner yet, or Willie Mullins not having a winner yet, saying, the horses are all sick. All of them are sick. They've no chance. He can't train Ivy up a wall, all this kind of stuff. And it all turns around. So Willie Mullins drew a blank for 2 days in a row a couple of years ago and had a 4-time. Ruby had a 4-timer on the Thursday. So I wouldn't be getting too worried about stuff. I think Henderson's in form. The Mullins horses are running okay. He's had second and fourth in the champion hurdle, or second and third. And then he said other ones have run okay. Gordon Elliott's had a winner with a massive drifter as well. That like Ravenhill was 5-1 the day before, and he wins at 12-1. So yeah, the market's not always right. I think it's really refreshing actually. The market's not always right, and don't be getting carried away. Stick to your guns, see it through. If you fancy something, back it.
Because the drifting is actually an interesting psychological thing, and I'd be interested to see if there's been studies done on markets where people who are going to back something suddenly see the market deserting it. They believe they don't have the information that.
And it makes no sense. So it's basically I'm gonna pay you more, and you go, no, I don't want the bet then. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. If you fancy it, you fancy it. Like, I mean, that's what J.P. McManus used to say. He used to say, like, you know, if the bigger the price, the bigger the bet. Where we all do it the other way around. Do you know what I mean? If it's a short price one, we all think about, we better have more on to get more back. But actually, if you think it's 2-1 and it's 5-1, then you should be having more on, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And Paddy, what's the atmosphere like? Because obviously there was a slightly smaller crowd yesterday. Presumably that's a direct knock-on of what's going on with the virus. Are people talking about it, or are they kind of ignoring it? Is that...
Every single conversation begins with, are we shaking hands? Are we whatever? And then all ends up with a hug, and people got over the top for actually like licking each other's faces. So it's the coronavirus is probably spreading like wildfire at Cheltenham, I'd imagine. But it is definitely a topic of conversation. Atmosphere hasn't really been muted. It's like no one's too worried about it. The Guinness Village is full. The crowd's probably slightly, I don't know what the official numbers are. I presume it's down slightly. But yeah, no, it's the atmosphere is as good as ever. People keep saying, God, if this was next week, it wouldn't be on.
Yeah.
Kind of begs the question, why is it on?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it absolutely does. Paddy, we'll let you go. Thanks a million for joining us this morning. Best of luck today.
Cheers.
Thanks, Paddy.
So we had John on a little bit earlier on, and he gave us his nap. John, do you want to run us through the rest of your bets today?
Yeah, so the nap is Manila Indo. That's in the 250. The 210, the Sunline Novices Chase. That's for Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore. I'm quite sweet on this one. Manila Indo was a really impressive winner at the festival last year over the same course and distance, and Henry's very good with jumpers. I think Manila Indo could be a Gold Cup horse in the future. Has a future beat today, but I think Manila Indo is where I'm putting my nap money today. My charity bet with Paddy Power. You can get it on offtheball.com. Chacun Persois, I think, will win this match against Steffi Desoy in the champion chase. He's about 11-8. I'm going with Chacun. I think a lot based on, I think that it's about peaking on the day. I don't think he was as fit as he could be at Christmas. I like the way he put him into bed about two out in the race at Leopardstown last time. And he put Steffi Desoy to the sword at Punchestown last year. There's only one day that matters for Willie Mullins. He's never won the champion chase. That is today, and I'm going for Chacun Persois, despite the lack of Cheltenham experience against Steffi Desoy. And the other three I'm going for Fernie Hollow, I've already mentioned in the bumper each way for Willie Mullins. Doesn't necessarily have to be the first string that Willie Mullins can send a horse here. I wouldn't worry too much about drifting. The horse is a little bit drifting a little bit. At Cheltenham, everybody's going for it. It's just the competitiveness of the market. What I would say about horses that attract support at Cheltenham, if your horse is being backed significantly, then I think that's a real positive for your horse. So Abacadabras and Epatant yesterday, the market spoke and the market worked for Epatant and nearly worked for Abacadabras. So if there's blue on the colour in odds checker, then that is a positive sign. The other two I'm going for are each way plays. Burrow's Edge in the Carl Cup. They're paying 7 places with Paddy Power. It's at, what, 250? Burrows Edge. The owner, Michael Buckley, had a winner of this race before with Spirit River a decade ago. He had also got Finian's Rainbow with Nicky Henderson. He's a good owner, and he likes this race. And the horse is down the bottom of the handicap. He won the Lanzarote Hurdle at Kempton last time. I think he'll appreciate the step up and trip with the ground regarding the test. And I think Burrows Edge at 16-1 might be worth a nibble each way. And the other each way one I'm going for, given what Gavin Cromwell told me and what he's written in the Racing Post today, or the quotes, that Theatre of War might have a bit up its sleeve in the juvenile hurdle, the Boodles race at 450. Theatre of War is a 20-1 shot, and they're paying, the first 5 places with Paddy Power on Theatre of War, this horse, part owned by Shane Lowry. The Clara Jug Syndicate for Theatre of War, and Darver Star ran very well for Gavin Cromwell yesterday. So that's what we're looking at today. A few each way plays, but Shacken will win, and Manila Indo. Fingers crossed, lads, because we need it.
Yes, John, good stuff. Thanks a million for joining us this morning.
All right, lads.
Enjoy your day. It's John Duggan. As he said, it's up on offtheball.com. We can WhatsApp that out to you, 087 9180 180. Just text us the word tips, and we'll send you that link and some of the other stuff that we have going for you.
Just one on Fernie Hollow. He's a very, very edgy horse. He's beaten on his first 2 starts in Ireland. He won at Ferrier House last time out, and the Mullins team have clearly done a lot to make sure they keep a lid on him. If I were you back in Fernie Hollow, if you have access to any parade ring footage, and watch him before the race and then have your bet. Because if this horse...
What are you looking for in the parade ring?
You're just looking for him to be calm, alert, but not too energetic, where he'd be moving around the place or on his toes or head in the air or buck lather or sweat. That'd be a massive negative for me. So just Fernie Hollow undoubtedly has the ability to be incredibly competitive in a champion bumper. I would certainly just watch him in the preliminaries. At Ferry House last day, there was a very, 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 very small crowd, and like I say, Team Mullins did absolutely everything in their power to keep a lid on him. They left him out of the parade ring last. Patrick mounted him on his own, as in he didn't even get a leg up. He waited until everyone had gone, and so everyone was on the way down to the start, and then they jumped on him and got him down almost separately. So I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for this fella even to get into start first. But it's just an intriguing dimension to Fernie Hollow, that he has the potential to.
You could wait and back him in running.
Oh, I'd wait until the absolute last minute, until he was down to start.
Right.
Just to make sure he's okay.
All right. Johnny Ward, good morning to you. How's the haircut?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, haircut's still there. Yeah.
How was your day yesterday?
Good. Yeah. Back Shishkin in the first. Back Honeysuckle each way. Back Alvin the Place Maris. Back had actually laid Notebook. So basically everything went right yesterday. Except I didn't back Ravenhill, who I backed for the Kim Muir anti-post. So I backed him for the wrong race, which I think a lot of people actually did. But it was a good day. It was a slightly strange after. I think the coronavirus is somewhat on people's minds over there. But the official crowd was still over 60,000. And today is gorgeous morning here. I think people are in good form for it.
We'll be back to you in a second.
Talking about laying Notebook there, and also affected Easy Game, who I backed in the race. The starts yesterday were significant. There's a couple of false starts.
Yeah.
I don't think the jockeys were right. I do think the starter was in the right, but they probably just came from too far back. You have to trot. You can't go into a canter. If you canter into the tapes, they will stop you. The system in the UK is one false start and then it's a standing start. So there's in Ireland they'd send them around, they go back, they'd let them away a bit. They can be a little bit more flexible. Look, jockeys just don't like rules as a general occupation. They're just not great with them. So at the start, when everyone's just fighting for every inch, it happens. But that was particularly a problem for Cashback and Notebook in the Arkle. Yes, as Johnny said, he was keen to oppose Notebook, and it was a really good call.
Okay. What have you got on? Whose side are you on today, Johnny? He's frozen. The picture is much better, but the line.
Picture's looking good. Yeah. He's got a good pose there.
Okay.
Shackelburg Swan, Defi DeSoy.
Yeah.
I'm with Shacken on the prices, and obviously on that form line from Punchestown last year, when on only Shackelburg Swan's second ever chase start. And this horse is 8. And he's only run 4 times over fences. So he was with Willie Mullins for a period of 3 years before he actually made his first appearance in public. That was in the basic NACE meeting, was in the Sunday's just gone of last year. So they'd hoped he'd be an Arkle horse, but they couldn't get to the track until literally 2 days before the Arkle, so that was scratched. Went to the Punchestown Festival, beat Deafy the Soy, and then, look, he's done well since. But obviously disappointed. I say he was just big and burly at Leopardstown at Christmas, and look, he improved nicely for it. But I'm with the horse. Team Mullins are incredibly confident in this fella's ability.
Okay, so they're on. They're confident in
Shack and Poursois in the Queen Mother Champion Chase.
And are you also on Fernie Hollow if you see things going well?
In the Champion Bumper, I'm actually with a horse called Israel Champ. My namesake, Thom Malone, who's a very, very successful bloodstock agent who buys a lot of horses for Paul Nicholls, who actually, Paul Nicholls, yesterday spent the day in the pub because he had no runners at the Cheltenham Festival in a day for the first time in 25 years.
Wow.
So he doesn't have the same kind of horse that he has previously, but Israel Champion is actually trained by David Pipe, was bought by, like I said, Thom Malone, has won his last two. Lovely Big Son of Milan is a previous point-to-point winner, so a similar kind of angle to John's coming out, a big price point-to-point winner, has won his last two, similar to Fernie Hollow, similar price.
Okay, around about 10 to 1. Johnny Ward is back. Johnny, whose side are you on today?
I do like Shack and Poursois in the Champion Chase. I think that's going to be a cracker. Interesting. No, Thom, you guide him tactically. Do you think Thom will Paul Townend under a bit of pressure from yesterday, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. Ruby Walsh was actually quite critical of what happened in that mare's hurdle when Paul went wide with Benny Dejieux, and the brilliant move by Rachel Blackmore up the inside and Honeysuckle. That, I'm not sure it was the winner of the race. I think the race might have won earlier because there was such a slow pace on, and you can see quite a lot of them got keen, and it obviously wasn't making the most of Benny Dejieux's stamina. But a lovely move by Rachel Blackmore. But I think it was kind of, she was helped by the guys riding for Willie Mullins.
I think today's going to be fascinating tactically, Ger, because I think Shack and Poursois was probably a better jumper. I'm very sweet on Battle Over Dying in the RSA race. He's about 14 to 1 this morning. I mean, the horse that invariably sent off odds on are fairly short. He didn't run his race at Leopardstown, but they were only going to run him if he travelled over all right. I couldn't actually clarify this morning how he travelled over, but they're not going to run him unless they're happy with him. And for me, with the ground is going to be pretty much perfect for him. I think he's a huge chance. I genuinely think you have a great run for your money each way. You might even get 4 places. Battle Over Dying, I think, is intriguing.
Okay, so Battle Over Diane at 10 past 2. Anything else for us there, Johnny?
Yeah, I heard Thom mention Fernie Hollow and alluded to the fact that he's a little bit quirky. Fernie Hollow, that is, not Thom. Hey. But he definitely has an engine, this horse. He's another of these cheaply park purchases, but I'm definitely backing him in the bumper. You know, you appreciate it's like 6 to 4. This lad's about 17 to 1 on the exchanges, and I think he's more than enough ability. The fact that Willie's bringing him over, this horse is a massive future. The fact that he's bringing him over, I think, is telling in itself. And don't be put off by backing Willie's second strings. I think this horse has a load of ability. Very, very good looking horse. Big future.
All right. Anything else for us before we let you go?
Anything else today? It'll be interesting about Tiger Roll. I'm not 100% sure about him today on the ground and the prep that he's had. But Envoy LN in the first, I mean, that's the absolute banker of the week. He's short enough in the market now. I just can't pick a hole in him though. And I think he's going to take an awful lot of beating. And I suppose just watch him. He's an absolutely beautiful specimen. But at the prices, my best bets today would be Shack and Poursois and Battle Over Diane.
Shack and Poursois and Envoy Allen in the double is going to get you about 2 to 1. So if you're that confident in all that stuff, then you can double them up, and that's why the bookmakers make money off us.
Yeah.
Should be a bit better than that, actually.
Envoy LN, Johnny, though, what a horse. I mean, this horse is, I know we get carried away with star novices every now and again, but this fella's different, isn't he?
He is. I mean, I was actually thinking of getting carried away, obviously, with Sam Crow. Sam Crow and Faugheen tomorrow, I think there's such a strange narrative to this. They're by the same stallion, so it's a bit like the prodigal son, where one of the sons has kind of been like, everyone loves him and he's delivered for the family, and the other one has just been a constant disappointment after showing great promise. But he's come back and he's looking for the love, and that's Sam Crow tomorrow. Envoy LN is like Sam Crow 2 years ago, but I mean, maybe you could pick a hole or two in Sam Crow. What has Envoy LN done that it hasn't been just sensational? Like, I cannot pick one flaw in him, and he's probably one of those bets where if you were there'll be some punters, even some that we know, who will have like sporadic bets, but seriously big bets. Like you're talking like 4 figures or whatever. And if they were to have one bet this week, it'll be him, because it's very, very hard to see how he can be beat.
All right, we'll let you go. Johnny, good stuff. Thanks very much for that. Tom, anything else for us before we let you go?
No, but like I said, I'd back up on Envoy. There's a couple of big handicaps that it's well worth having a look at the kind of each way places in that, because like I said, Paddy Power playing 7 places, bits and pieces. On Battle Over Doyen, I'd certainly... I'm very disappointed with him the last day, and falling coming into an RSA isn't ideal. Whereas, like, obviously Manella Indo, there are holes in his form just because he's taken such a gentler route to the race, but I'm a big fan of Manella Indo. In the Coral Cup, I trust Charles Burns in a big handicap hurdle, and those days are gone with Charles Burns. He is a maestro. Another one at a huge price is in the Boodles as well. So I'll just give you a quick shout on that. And it's trained by Nick Williams, who is really good with 4-year-olds, and he has one here called Galahad Quest, who is round about 25-33 to 1 in the 450.
Good stuff, Tom. Thanks very much for that. That is our lot today on day 2 of the Cheltenham Show this morning. You can watch it back on YouTube, or you can subscribe to highlights from OTB, from the OTB Podcast Network. That's where you get the full podcast, and you can listen to everything. We've got John Duggan's tips up on offtheball.com, Tom Malone's preview, the OTB tipster table, and much more across the day as well. Tips straight to your phone. Just send us a WhatsApp on OTB at 0879 180 180. John Duggan's back on OTB AM tomorrow morning from 7:30. Tom's going to join me in studio from 9 for the Cheltenham Show on day 3 of the festival, where we hear from JD, Paddy Power and Johnny Ward again, all live from the racecourse. It's all brought to you in association with our Cheltenham partner, Paddy Power. Cheltenham's coming home. I'm going to play you out with this. It's Barry Garrity chatting to John Duggan about his champion hurdle victory on Epatante in the champion hurdle yesterday. Have a look.
Barry Garrity, 4 champion hurdles. How good is that?
Brilliant. Coming into the race over the last 2 weeks, I was really fancying it, but just when the ground was, I was hoping was going to